Hi, I'm Andy and I'm a volunteer firefighter for the Sugarloaf Fire Protection District. We protect about 17 square miles here in the mountains west of Boulder. Our elevation changes are from 6,000 to 8,500 feet. We protect about 500 homes, a water treatment facility for the city of Boulder, open space, mountain parks, and several thousand acres of the Arapahoe Roosevelt National Forest. Because of our high winds and our dry climate, getting water to a scene is critical to controlling that fire. To do that, we use our tenders or our water haulers. And for today, the star of the show is 5541. We call our water trucks tenders because tanker is used to describe an air tanker, or a plane that carries flame retardant and dumps it from the air. While 5541 has been custom tailored for our department, most tenders will be very similar as the principle of moving water is the same. Ideally in a fire, this truck hauls water to the scene so the engines and firefighters already attacking the flames have a continual water source. We set up portable ponds or porta-ponds to hold the water as the tenders drive a loop of refilling and dumping. This gives the engines a continuous source of water. Let's have a closer look. This is the pump panel, which we will use for filling at a dry hydrant and a creek. Other than that, dumping and filling at a pressurized hydrant do not need the pump. This is a 2,000-gallon water tank. That amount of water weighs more than 16,000 pounds. Imagine an adult male African elephant playing a grand piano on your truck. That's how much weight you're carrying. Now you've seen the side of the truck, let's look in from the top. So this is the view from the top. And as you can see, our tank is 100% full. Were you to take it any higher, it would come out here. It's your overflow tubes and at the bottom of the truck. Got it? Now we've met the truck, let's take it through its functions. We are creating a mock fire to take you through a scene as though it were happening. Our pagers have beeped and give us the information of a structure fire and the address. In a real scenario, this is what all firefighters would be wearing. This is full bunker PPE or personal protection equipment. However, for the purposes of this video, we'll be wearing this. A tender's primary role is to get water to the scene. Let's get started with setting up a porta pond and dumping.
Dispatch, this is 5541 en route status 2.
5541, 1111.
Call the engine and see where they want us.
5501, this is 5541. Where do you want us? 5541, this is 5501. Please set up a pond to the east of the engine. It's flat and you can drive through it easily. Brake. Copy that.
An engine team for 5501 has already arrived. To keep water flowing to them, we need to set up a porta pond as quickly as possible. The switch to lower the porta pond is at the right rear side of the truck. Hold the button down until you hear a clicking noise. Okay, so we'll lift on 3. Let's get it. You want the drain at the lowest point of earth so that at the end of the scene, when you are emptying the pond, you are not working against gravity. Even if you have plenty of muscle, try not to make more work for yourself than necessary. Make sure the drain is on the outside of the pond with the rope wrapped and securely tied. As we're on the right side, Sarah will dump water from the passenger side first, using the button on the outside of the tender. We have 2 other ways to show you how to dump, and by the end you'll see how much water this tender gives to a scene. Next is the driver's side dump, or left dump. Dumping water from the driver's side is exactly the same, except we use the button on the driver's side. The final way to dump water is using the rear dump. Dumping from the rear is the riskiest of the 3. The chance of damaging the truck or pond is much higher, and even worse, there might be someone behind the truck you can't see. If there is someone available to back up your truck, use them. It is the safest way to be on scene. Sarah will flip the rear dump switch on the back of the truck. Often, the tender driver is working alone and uses a dump switch inside the cab. If your only approach to the porta pond is from the rear dump, on Sugarloaf we have rear cameras in our tenders to help us back up safely. If I was alone, I would use the rear dump switch here in the cab. A final comment on dumping. Try your best to dump all your water. Keep the front of the truck pointing uphill if you are on a slope, so as to maximize the amount of water you can dump out and give to the scene. So those are the 3 ways to dump water out of the tender, and this is what a full tank looks like in the porta pond. From here, we would connect a hard suction hose to the engine with the strainer on the end in the pond. The water from the pond flows through the engine pump and directly out to the hoses, making it the most efficient way to get water to the firefighters on the end. No time to waste, let's go refill. We start with the easiest way, the pressurized hydrant. On Sugarloaf, we have pressurized hydrants, meaning we do not need to use the pump to get water into the tank. We have designated boxes next to some of our hydrants with all the fittings you'll need to get connected. If you're at a pressurized hydrant that doesn't have a box, you'll find the fittings you need in the first compartment of the driver's side. You need your 2.5-inch hydrant valve, your 2.5-inch hose, your 4-inch hydrant valve, and your 4-inch hose. Okay, let's go look at how to hook up a pressurized hydrant. Step 1. Make sure the valve is closed and connect both hydrant valves to the hydrant. Step 2. Check the gaskets and connect the hoses to the hydrant valves. Step 3. Go to the back of the truck and make sure your rear fill drains are closed. Step 4. Check the gasket and connect the 2.5-inch hose on the smaller rear fill on the right side. Turn this over handle to 6 o'clock to open the valve. Step 5. Check the gaskets and connect the 4-inch hose. The 4-inch hose goes on the larger Stort's connector. Hold down the silver latch to disconnect the cover. You might need to use the specific Stort's tool to help you. Twist until the latch snaps into place, then turn the black wheel to open the valve. We are ready for water. Use the hydrant wrench from the right rear of the truck to open the hydrant. The water needs to be brought out slowly. Move too fast and you can damage the system by creating pressure waves. It will take roughly 25 to 30 turns to open it. Pace it and be patient. Once the hydrant is fully open both hydrant valves to allow water to flow to the truck. With both hoses connected, it would take about 3 to 4 minutes to fill. There are lights to show you the progress of the water here on the pump panel and here at the rear. The truck will overflow with water soon after the fourth light illuminates. Try to close everything before water pours out the bottom of the truck. This is not so much of an issue in the summer, but would create a skating rink in the winter. Close off the hydrant valves on the hydrant and close off the valves at the truck. When everything is closed, open the drain on the truck to relieve the pressure in the hose. Watch your boots! Remove the hoses from the truck and pull them out of the road. Now we would head back to the scene and dump the water into the porta pond. More tenders will arrive if it is a large fire, and we will make an ongoing loop of hauling water to the firefighters. If for some reason you can't use the pressurized water system, you can pull water from a dry hydrant. This is one of our dry hydrants. The hard suction hose from the rear of the tender connects to the hydrant and to the 4-inch inlet, in this case, on the driver's side. When hooking up the hard suction, you want the connections wrench tight. Check your gaskets in the hose too. If you have any leaks, you won't be able to draw the water up to the pump. Since the pump can quickly overheat, it is better to get everything connected and ready before turning on the PTO. Woohoo! Turn on the PTO. Hold the 4-inch suction inlet switch until the green light comes on. Now it's time to prime the pump. Pull and hold the pull to prime lever. The top left gauge, pump intake, will show vacuum by the needle moving counterclockwise. Now, watch your hose for water. Ours are somewhat transparent and you can see the water creeping up. You will hear a change in the pump when water gets there. Fully push in the pull to prime lever. On the pump panel, go to RPM mode and push the yellow increase button. Slowly open the tank refill button so you don't lose pressure. Now we watch the tank lights until they're all lit up. Once the tank is full, we go backwards through the steps to close it down. Set the pump to idle on the panel, close the tank refill button, close the 4-inch suction inlet, turn off the PTO, then disconnect the hard suction. As we're here by a lovely creek, we will show you how to refill from a creek next. First, you will need to judge how much of the hard suction hose you will need. On 5541, we have 3 lengths totaling 24 feet. For this creek, we're going to need all of ours. Check all your gaskets to make sure they are good, and then join the hard suction hoses together, wrench tight. Now connect the strainer to the end of the hose going into the creek. This will keep debris out of the hose and water tank. Before you place the strainer in the creek, make sure the rope is attached to the handle and not tucked away inside. Settle the strainer in the water, ensuring it is fully submerged. Try not to get your feet wet. Turn on the PTO to get power from the engine to the pump. It will take a little longer for the water to travel up the 3 lengths of hose, but we'll watch for it. First, we hold the 4-inch inlet switch until the green light comes on. Pull and hold out the pull to prime lever. We are removing air from the pump and now a much longer hose to create that vacuum the water will fill. Push in the pull to prime lever fully. On the pump panel, go to RPM mode. Push the yellow increase button until your maximum 50 psi. Open the tank refill button slowly. Watch the pressure gauge for the pump here at the top right. Once you have a good flow of water going, open the tank refill button all the way. When all 4 tank lights are on, set the pump to idle on the pump panel, close the tank refill button, close the 4-inch suction, turn off the PTO, and disconnect the hard suction. We have a slight dilemma when it comes to our primer failing. See, when we dump our water, we want to dump all of it. But if our primer fails, we need water from the tank to create suction in the pump in order to get water up from the dry hydrant or creek. How do you know if you have enough water? You don't. First, check all your hard suction connections are wrench tight and that the strainer is fully submerged. Open tank to pump. It is the bottom right black knob. Squeeze and pull hard. Crack the tank refill button until the yellow light comes on. This gets the water circulating. Increase RPM on the pump panel to 50 to 75 psi. Watch the pump discharge gauge on the right side as it will fluctuate a little bit and then eventually settle to the number you've chosen. Slowly open the driver's side 4-inch inlet. Both lights off indicates this is partially open. There ought to be water coming up from the hard suction. If this is not happening after a minute or so, turn off the pump and let it cool. At the end of the scene, close the main hydrant first. When closing the hydrant, turn it all the way tight and then come back a quarter turn until it feels freer. Cranking the hydrant all the way closed distorts the seal. Disconnect the hydrant valves and hoses, put them back in the box or in the tender. Fully drain the pond. Once it is empty, retie the drain on the outside of the pond. When reloading, put the ropes on the rack and tuck the vinyl in the frame. This protects the pond as it bounces along in the tender. So recap, ropes down, vinyl in. Well done. Great job. If you've enjoyed our video and would like to support our volunteer department with a tax-deductible donation, please see our website, slfpd.org. Thank you so much.